Let me begin this morning by saying that I love the church. I'm a church baby. I love the songs, I love the singing, I love the shouting, the worship and the adoration. It could be CCM, contemporary, traditional. I love it all. But here's the reality. The church that I know is not the church that my parents knew growing up. Now watch this. I see a different church that's emerging. We don't have any reverence for things that draw you near to worship. No stained glass windows, no hymnals. We don't talk in the hushed tones in the sanctuary anymore. We don't have Bibles on the back of pews anymore. How about the fact that churches don't even have pews? No communion table with the 2 chairs. They used to tell you don't touch it. But nowadays, churches are built like theaters and comedy clubs. Everybody got to have flat screens or huge video screens. Now, Bishop, I'm not talking about y'all. Music dominating our service. And preparing for church used to be a whole vibe in my family. You know, getting your clothes dry clean, getting haircuts, getting your hair done at the beauty salon. But now it's different. People are wearing ripped jeans to church. Their clothes are so tight the whole praise team look like sausages. Strobe lights, you got neon lights and smoke machines. Sunday morning services have turned into American Idol, Sunday's Best, and The Voice all rolled in one. Now, you say that those things don't mean anything. But I challenge you today that we have lost something. And with every technological gain and every attraction, we have lost a little more reverence for God's church. Can I preach to you in here? Now listen, there is a difference between a thermometer and a thermostat. Fashions of the world, secular replacing the sacred. We dance in here like they do out there. Something's wrong with us when we let an artist who talks about stuffing scriptures in her private places be the featured psalmist or soundtrack artist in our church or family gatherings. The book of Malachi calls it polluted bread on the altar. Now, you can eat it, but it's poison. And the Bible says that there's a way that seemeth right unto a man, but the end of that way leads to destruction. And in the Old Testament, when the ark of the Lord was returning from exile, a man named Uzzah was killed because he tried to keep the ark from falling off a cart pulled by oxen. And week after week and Sunday after Sunday, we don't experience the glory in the church because the presence of the Lord is being pulled by people who live like animals, but they want to pull the cart. Now listen, we're good at performing. We're good at being hypocritical. Even the word hypocrite means actor. The problem with us is that we act just to keep people in the seats. We don't see the glory no more because we turn to tricks to keep the people coming into the church. Now listen, I'm just a young man, but I'm noticing that this is a strange time in the church. Everybody gets offended. Nobody likes to be corrected. Nobody reads their word anymore. Preachers are repeating YouTube sermons. The Bible is not the authority in these so-called Christian churches anymore. These so-called Christians are carrying crystals. They burn sage. They manifest it. They have spirit guides. And we are creating our own theology. And in the meantime, mosques and masjids are growing because somebody really wants a standard. And you got to give it up to the Muslims. They're giving up makeup. They're giving up flashy clothing. They'll stop eating pork. They'll even take off of work for a prayer meeting. And the problem with us is the church has become so preoccupied with accommodating the sinner that we have lost our standard. And the Bible says when there is no standard, the people cast off restraint. That means that we do anything. But here's the problem. When the church aligns itself and makes alliances with the world, she loses her innocence and becomes cheap. The church is losing the power of God. She does not have any powers from within to help the people live right. And the Christian church loses its power when we depart from God and we start relying on the worldly ideas. But we've got to remember that Jesus is the high priest, and only a virgin and pure church can become his bride. James 4 verse 4 says, do you not know that friendship with the world is enmity with God? So whoever therefore wants to be a friend of the world makes himself an enemy of God. Now make no mistake about it. The church don't belong to us. The church is Jesus' bride. She is the wife of Christ. And when we admire a man and when we respect him or appreciate him and reverence him, we are careful on what we say about his wife. Listen, I was talking to my father the other day and he said, son, there are 4 things that you don't mess with when it comes to a man. A man's mother, that's the first one. A man's money, second. A man's children, and a man's wife. Now, you can't celebrate the groom and insult the bride. No, I can't hear nobody. You can't celebrate the groom and insult the bride. You've got to be careful on how you put your mouth on the church. People nowadays are running along and saying that the church is this or the church is that. But the funny thing is, it's not the unbeliever or the heathen who tear down the church as much as it is the fellow Christians who dump on the church. I can't hear you in here. We drag the church, always talking about what the church ain't doing or what the church don't do right or what the church gets wrong or the problem with the church is, and then we act like we know what's best for the church. We get careless with our words and start thinking that we know how to fix the church. Now, we claim to honor Jesus, but we tag a whole lot of negativity to his bride. And it don't help when unfaithful leaders disappoint us. Now, let's be honest. Some ministries hurt us, but God is saying that the church is still mine. He said that the church is his bride. God is in the church. He didn't skip the church house for the White House, but he said, upon this rock I will build my church. And the devil is trying to sabotage the bride, trying to keep us from our appointed hour when the bride and the groom meet up in the sky. And 1 Thessalonians says, so shall we ever be with the Lord. Look at the way that he designed a man to desire a woman. The bride ought to be completely in love with her groom. She lives for her groom. She desires only her groom. He has all of her heart and attention. She waits for him.